Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. Today I thought I would run you through my skirt collection. You know the drill. I'm going to try everything on that I own, talk about the sizing, the fit, the quality, and whether I think it's worth it. So I thought I would just quickly dive into it because otherwise these end up being very long. So I thought I would start with one of my favorite skirts in my wardrobe, which is this ASOS denim mini skirt. So this is in a faded black, which you probably can tell just judging by how often I wear my Dr. Denim jeans. It's a color that I really love. I find it very easy to pair with everything else that I own, and it's just a bit of a classic for me. I bought this about 2 years ago and I have not regretted it at all. It was very affordable. I want to say it was around the $50 mark, which I think is really reasonable. And again, like I said in my denim collection video, which I'm going to link up here if you haven't watched it already, I'm really impressed with ASOS denim. It's actually quite rigid and sturdy. There's a lot of structure to it and it feels quality. I've washed this countless times and it's held up so well. There's no fraying or no seams coming loose or anything like that. So it's kind of worn very well, a lot better than I probably would have expected. I'm wearing the UK 8 and I think it's a pretty good fit. Like you can see there's a touch with a little bit of room around the back, but my back does curve slightly, so that is something I occasionally get with denim skirts or jeans in general. But yeah, I like the fit. It's a lot kind of straighter cut through the hip, which personally is a silhouette that I really like and I think it really flatters my body. The next skirt that I have here is from Lover. This is one that I've had, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years. I feel like I bought it when Luke and I still lived in Bondi, which was 5 years ago now. So it's been one of those items that has really stood the test of time for me. It is very well made. It's cotton embroidery on glaze, which I really like. It's got that texture to it, which I think makes it a little bit more interesting. I love the midi length. I think it's really flattering. It comes to maybe a third of the way down my shin from my knee, and it is lined and it's got a bit of volume to it actually, despite there being no crinoline or anything like that underneath. I got this in an 8 and it was actually too big for me, so I had it taken in so that it would fit me perfectly around the waist. That's something I always recommend doing. And another thing is that I've worn this so much that the zipper broke, so I recently had to go and get that repaired. I'm so glad I did because I had kind of stopped wearing this because I knew it was sort of on its last leg, so now it's kind of breathed new life into it again. It feels like I've got a whole new skirt. Now unfortunately, because this is so old, they don't actually sell this style anymore, but if I can find it on eBay, I will link it down in the description below. Otherwise, alternatives, you guys know the drill. I will have all my sizing information down there as well in case you kind of want to refer back to anything. The next skirt that I have is from Karen Walker. This one I've had maybe for 7 years or even longer than that. I've had this for quite some time now. I purchased it when we still lived in New Zealand. This is called the Lily skirt, and I don't know if she's still creating this style anymore, but it was sort of a staple that you could pick up every single season. I really like it because it's cinched in at the waist. It's got an elasticated waistband, which makes it very comfortable, and then it almost has this sort of tulip style silhouette, and I found that that was something I gravitated to a lot, especially in my early 20s, just because I am more pear-shaped, so I carry a lot of my weight kind of around my bum and my hip area. The fabric is a cotton drill, which I find has a really nice weight to it as well. I figured since we're talking about Karen Walker skirts, I might as well share the other one that I have in my wardrobe, which is actually a newer edition. I found this on eBay. I've been searching for it for years. There's actually a top as well that kind of goes with this, which I think is a really cool look, but I found it, and as you guys know, as part of my 5-piece French wardrobe challenge, I've given myself the caveat of being able to purchase pre-loved items under $200 just because I want to try and encourage myself to shop more sustainably in that way. So this one is more of like a wool tweed mix, and it's got a houndstooth pattern on it. It's from Bleeding Roses collection, I think it was, and I just loved this print. It really stood out to me. This one has a lot more structure than the other one, and actually I'm wearing it in a UK 6 and it is much more fitted around the waist. The UK 4, I think the waistband or the elastic is stretched out a little bit. This one feels much more snug, but this is definitely one I see myself wearing a lot for autumn, winter. It looks really cute paired with a lot of my knits, and I love the way that it looks when you kind of put a little belt around here as well. The next skirt is my leather skirt from Willow. I've had this for a couple of years now and I actually love it so much that I purchased 2. I found this pre-loved on eBay. Unfortunately, the brand is defunct, so you can't really purchase it anymore, which is a shame. However, the designer is still designing under a new brand called Kit X, which I might link down below in case she does any similar styles like this. I have seen some of her leather pieces from her current kind of collection, and they do feel like they're the same quality as this. So it's a really nice, thick but supple leather, so it feels really soft, and it does definitely mold to your figure as well, which is quite nice. It's got an exposed zipper at the back, and this has slightly more of like an A-line frame to it, which I find is universally flattering. The other one that I have is a much thicker, stiffer leather, and I find that it's much more of a, I guess, tapered fit around the hips is maybe the best way to describe it, but it's really lovely, fully lined. I adore this for autumn winter. It's a really good one for the transitional season as well, because it is just one of those classic wardrobe basics. I do have a second skirt from Willow, another leather one, but this is a slightly different silhouette. So this has a band around the waist, and there's some pin tuck detailing here, and then it's slightly straighter through the leg, which again kind of has that similar fit to the ASOS denim skirt, but it's in a leather. And this is absolutely beautiful. It's got this lovely grained, textured, pebbled leather effect, which I think is really nice. It's got a really lovely hand feel to it. It just feels unique and interesting. And again, it does have that exposed zipper detail at the back. I got this in a UK 6, same size as I got my other leather skirt from Willow in, and yeah, it's just an absolute gem. The quality of her leather pieces was just next level. So if you do live in Australia and you did manage to get your hands on one of her leather pieces, then lucky you, because honestly they are just exceptional. Probably one of my most complimented skirts would be this one here from Topshop. It's got a hanky hemline, which is very asymmetrical. It's very uneven, which I kind of like, and that was what drew me to the silhouette. The length is a midi length, and I think this one's made out of a rayon. It's very kind of floaty. It did shrink just a touch when I put it in the wash. I had to get it in a size 6 because I found the 8 was just a little bit too big. Usually I am an 8 in most Topshop things, unless they are fitted at the waist, then usually I can find they fit into a 6. But yeah, I really love this one. I have been thinking about purchasing a lover skirt, which is very similar in terms of the silhouette and also the print, as more of a, I guess, premium or higher quality update to this. I'm just not 100% sure if I need to. So that's kind of one of the things that is on my 5-piece French wardrobe wish list, is in addition to the ones that I already shared in a previous video, which I'm gonna pop up here. But yeah, it's just a really great little one. I've worn it heaps, and I always feel really good whenever I have this one on. The next skirt is a midi skirt from Cali the Label. I purchased this towards the tail end of last year just because I really wanted to inject a bit of that rust color into my wardrobe. I have to say, out of all the skirts I have, this is one of the ones that I'm at least sure about, and there's a couple of reasons. So I really love the silhouette. I think it is really flattering. It kind of skims over all of your curves, and then it flounces out a little bit at the hemline. However, the thing that I'm not sure about is the fabric. So I don't know if you can see this. I'm sure, hopefully it's coming off on camera, but you can actually see the seams, or you know, the outline of what I'm wearing underneath, and this includes knickers. So I find it really hard to wear this, because whenever I do, even if I'm wearing, you know, a pair of underwear that has no visible seams and usually wouldn't be detectable under anything else, I find that this usually you can't see it. So that's kind of a little bit of a problem that I have with this, and I think it's part of the reason why I just haven't been drawn to wearing it, and I'm really not sure if it's something I see myself having in my wardrobe for a long time. I have thrown this in the washing machine though, and I will say that it did wash very well. There was no pulls or anything. It's held up, no loose seams, anything like that. So aside from that, it is a very quality piece, but it's just that one thing about being able to see the outline of what I'm wearing underneath that is a little bit of a problem for me. You can probably tell I have a bit of a type. I really love denim skirts. This one here is from J.Crew, and I purchased this when I went to Dallas 2 years ago now, and I adore it. It's held up so well, and it has just been one of those wardrobe staples that I've reached for time and again. I've just found so many ways to wear this. I think because it's a white skirt, it just is a bit of a blank canvas for whatever you want to wear it with, but I love doing sort of a full-on neutral look, white on white, with a little kind of, I guess, ecru color blazer. I think that's a really cool look, but it also looks amazing when paired with knitwear as well. The sizing on this was really funny. I actually think I'm wearing this in 23, which is not even close to my usual denim size. I usually wear a 25, so I do find J.Crew is a brand that does vanity size. It's sort of one of those things. I always find it really frustrating because it's hard to know which size you should purchase. I much prefer it when brands just do standardized sizing, because you want things to fit right. So what I like about this is the raw edge hem. I just think it's really nice. It's held up really well. I've washed this about 1 million times. I've got marks on it, and I've just soaked it, and they've come out perfectly, so I haven't had any issues from that perspective, and it's still available. It's definitely one I would recommend if you're looking for something that's a little bit more casual and relaxed that doesn't have a finished hem. The next skirt is another ASOS one, and this is more of a pelmet style skirt, so it's got a little bit more room, I would say, around the hips or the top of my thighs than the other denim skirt I showed you earlier. I also got this in a size 8, but this has a bit more give around the waistband, I would say, but I find it fits me perfectly everywhere else. So Similar to the rust skirt from Cali, this is one of those ones that I'm not 100% sure about. Whenever I put it on, I remember why I liked it so much, but I just never find myself reaching for it. I don't know if it's the color, because you guys know I really am just a fan of neutrals. They are kind of my bread and butter and what I tend to reach for day in, day out, but I just don't really find myself wearing this, so I'm gonna try and make more of an effort, even though it's sort of heading towards winter here now. But I do really like it. I do like the color, but it just, for some reason, it hasn't really gelled with me 100%. So yeah, it's one of those ones with really great quality. Again, it just speaks to the quality of ASOS denim. And like I think I've said many times before, you don't need to spend a lot to get a great pair of jeans or a great denim skirt. The next skirt is from a brand called French, and this is a polka dot skirt. It was kind of one that I bought when I was having this huge moment with polka dots, which is all the time, but I was especially within a certain phase at that particular point in time. I have to say I don't really reach for this very often. I do like the fact that it's got this elasticated paper bag style waistband, and you can kind of tighten it using this little tie here. I think the thing that always throws me is the length. So this is almost a maxi length on me. It's, I think, on someone who had a bit more height in their legs, this would definitely be a midi, but I think it's a really beautiful skirt. It's got pockets, which is great, a lot of movement. It is kind of one of those pieces that I feel like I just hang on to because I feel like it will come in handy when Luke and I decide to start a family. Just be one of those great pieces to have because of the elasticated waistband. So I don't know, definitely one that I want to wear more. I really like the way it looks with just a black turtleneck and then some heels, so maybe I just need to branch out and kind of, I guess, experiment with it a little bit more. The next skirt is this beautiful pleated skirt from a friend of Audrey. This was very kindly gifted to me at the same time as I got that khaki blazer, and it kind of matches. Actually, maybe I should throw that on to show you. It's actually a really nice combination. There you go. Yeah, really nice. I really love this skirt. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. The quality of it is divine. It's very weighty and it just kind of feels quite premium. I like the fact that it's got this underlayer and then it's got the pleating over the top. It actually has more of a thicker box style pleating at the back, whereas it has this more finer style in the front, which I think is a really nice contrast, and it has this little buckle detail. This is beautiful. Again, one that I definitely want to wear a lot this winter. I kind of feel like probably the way that I would wear this just to make it look a little bit more relaxed is with an oversized knit sweater. Next, I have this gold plated midi skirt from ASOS. I sort of went through a phase, I would say it was when we first moved here, so around 5 years ago, where I just wanted to wear pleated skirts. It was basically all I was throwing on, and I had maybe 5 different colors from ASOS. I really liked their midi skirts just because they were a nice length and they were double lined and they were always really floaty and feminine. This was one that I picked up probably towards the end of that, so I haven't actually worn it. The tag is still in the back, but the reason why I didn't wear it at the time was it was too long, so I got it taken up and the length on it is perfect now. It's definitely something that I want to see myself wearing. I think maybe it's also the gold color because it feels just a little bit festive, but I want to wear this with big snuggly knit sweaters, very similar to how I'd probably wear that friend of Audrey one, but I definitely want to reach for this a lot over autumn winter. I just think it's a really nice piece and it feels really lovely too. It actually feels a lot more expensive than it was. Now this next skirt is from Karen Walker. This is one I've had for a really long time. I want to say about 7 years. I bought it around the time that Luke and I first moved in together. I purchased this off Trade Me and it was an absolute steal. It was kind of bargain of the century for me at that time. I love this wool flannel fabric. I think it is so lovely. It's got a really nice hand feel to it. It just kind of feels cozy and it's got pockets. I love the elasticated waistband. It's definitely a feature that I really gravitate towards, and the fit of it's really nice too. As you can kind of probably tell, I really like those silhouettes that are a bit more straight cut rather than being completely figure hugging or being too A-line. I just find that it works really well with my silhouette, and it's definitely something that I feel like I'm looking for a little bit more when it comes to any potential new skirt additions for my closet. Next, we've got my livid print silky slip skirt. This is the dupe that I got for the Realization Pass skirt. I purchased mine from Dish Boutiques, and unfortunately this one's no longer available, but I will find alternatives for you guys down below. I have to say I really love this type of skirt, and it's definitely made me think I want to invest in the real thing. I feel like I've mentioned this a few times, but I'd be happy to spend the money now knowing how much I've worn this and how much I really enjoy wearing it. Kind of feel like it's a really good staple. I mean, leopard print comes around every single season, and this one I feel like it's a little bit more of a subtle take on it. Now, this particular skirt though, if you do come across it, I'm not really sure that I would recommend it. It pulls a lot on the sides, and I've kind of found that I've had to go over with a marker to fill in the actual leopard print spots or cheetah spots, whatever you want to call them, just to make sure that you can't see where the fabric is pulled. I don't know how this has happened because the skirt is kept in a place where I don't think the cats could reach it, and I haven't seen them try to climb my clothes in a while, so I'm not sure how this has been happening, but essentially I've got pulls along here and along the other side as well. The fit is a little bit off too, so you can probably see there is so much room around the waistband, but when it comes to the hips it fits me perfectly, but the fabric also bubbles over. If you're ever wondering about the signs of quality or a good quality piece, you can probably tell that this is not the best quality because the seam actually doesn't lie flat. I mean, I don't know anyone whose hip bubbles like that. So just a few things that are a little bit off about the skirt, but in terms of the style, I do really like it. I'm still wearing it. I'm kind of just compromising for now until I finally get around to buying the actual real thing. Then there's just two more skirts and they're both black. This one is from T by Alexander Wang, and it's actually the second of these skirts that I've owned. When I went to New York with my friend Mary 7-8 years ago, I actually purchased this in a charcoal grey wool, but I think I bought it in a size smaller than this, or at least it fit me really tight, so I decided to part with it. But this one here, perfect fit. I really love this elasticated waistband here, very figure flattering, so definitely one that I don't wear if I feel like I'm bloating a lot. The quality of it is nice. It is the kind of fabric though that will bubble up, so you just need to make sure that you've got one of those fabric shavers to remove that to keep it looking fresh and new. Then the final skirt that I have is this black midi skirt from ASOS. This is a newer addition to my wardrobe that I bought as a basic because I really love my lover cotton skirt, and I wanted something that was in a black because, you know, I like to cover off all my bases and have my essentials in those core colors of my wardrobe. So this one I really like because it's a cotton linen mix, which to me, I always go for natural fibers, so it was a big win from that perspective. And I really love this buckle detail here, and it has these white seams which I think elevate it, make it feel a little bit special. It is, I feel like it's almost slightly sheer. It's probably not showing off on camera, but I would just wear nude underwear with this or pair it with a little slip underneath. I do have a short skirt slip that I sometimes wear. My only issue with this is that I find that the belt doesn't really tie or secure snugly because it is one of those, what are these ones called? It's not a D-ring. I always forget what you call this type of belt, but I just find that it doesn't really fit me snugly, so that's probably my only problem. Are you meant to loop it back through or something? I always forget how you do these. Maybe if I did it like this it would be fine. I'm not really sure, but otherwise I absolutely love it. The length is perfect, the way that it fits and it moves is just perfect. A really good, actually affordable find as well. So that is my full skirt collection. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I'd love to know what kind of skirts that you gravitate towards. Obviously one of the key things for me is that I really want to look at getting skirts which are more of a straighter fit through the hip. I find that it's most flattering for me, and I'd love to maybe look at getting some that are in fabrics that aren't denim, because I find that despite being more of a structured or fitted silhouette, it still kind of feels a little bit more relaxed because of the material. So I'm definitely looking for something like that that I can add into my wardrobe to kind of dress things up slightly. Anyway, that is it from me today. I will see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video. See you then. Bye.